Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and peace be with you, brothers and sisters of humanity. I hope all is well. I haven't been posting videos. I've been lazy. I had so much going on and still do actually. But I promise after Ramadan, I'll be posting more videos. Today, I came across this video, not today, but actually a couple of days ago. I was just too busy to to make a video about it. I just decided to say something. This is the new Prime Minister of New Zealand, and he was asked to define what woman is, and he literally just go ahead and see it. I'll let you see it.
To be honest, Sean, that question's come slightly out of left field for me. Biology, sex, gender, people define themselves, people define their own genders.
Keir Starmer has said that he believes 99.9% of women do not have penises. And I know it's a strange thing for him to say, but given recent events in New Zealand, I'd ask again, how do you define what a woman is?
Well, I think as I've just indicated, I wasn't expecting that question, so it's not something that I've pre-formulated an answer on. But in terms of gender identity, I think people define their gender identity for themselves.
Self-identification?
Yes.
What about, if you like, an official or a wider societal sense?
Again, I think we have rules in place now. If someone wants to change their gender on their birth certificate, for example, there's a process that they go through in order to do that. I haven't got the process chapter and verse in front of me, but it's available. Anybody can look it up and see what that process is.
Just one follow-up. You described that you thought some of Posey Parker's views were abhorrent. Could you tell us which ones?
I think some of the views being conveyed around the transgender community, some of the sentiment.
Her views.
Yes, some of the sentiment that she's expressed towards the transgender community is abhorrent in my view. Well, that they shouldn't exist.
Wow. I mean, how hard could it be? How hard could it be? This is the times we are living nowadays. You don't hear defining what man is. But today, we live in a world where Western liberal politicians can no longer say what woman is. Of course, they know what woman is. It's their mother. It's the womb that carried them for 9+ months. It's the vehicle that brought them into this world. The vehicle that was used by God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to bring them into this life. They know no man can host a child in his womb or has the ability and the body parts to do so. What is going on? What's this world coming to? I feel like the vast majority of women are silent. Well, there are two things really happening. In the Western nations, where men are putting on dresses, claiming womanhood, are literally just taking away women's rights to the point where women can no longer be alone anywhere. To the point where women cannot even speak at their own offense. You've seen what happened last week with Kelly J. Keane, I think, aka Posey Parker. She almost lost her life, almost crushed by thousands of men, some wearing dresses, some not. Why? Because she put together an event saying, let women speak, women's event. Women cannot even speak at their own offense. That's where we are. They can no longer have their own spaces. Riley Gaines, that young swimmer, was attacked yesterday at the University of San Francisco, or San Francisco State, I think, one of them, by men, literally fuming at the mouth. Here's the video.
I know I mentioned I got nominated for NCAA Woman of the Year. And so they had a big convention where you go, they honor you, they name their Woman of the Year. And so I went to this convention. It was in January, it was in San Antonio. And so I go to the convention, obviously not in support because the award was immediately meaningless.
She was held hostage for 3 hours in a room because these people were going to overrun the police. This is where we are in the West, in the Western nations, where women actually thrived a little bit and did well for themselves and got good educations and went to schools and, just did well for themselves. But at the same time, I know there are some radical feminism that actually brought this forward, and there are still some of them who are fighting for this. I don't know if they thought this was going to happen, but this is the next natural progression when we use terms like toxic masculinity. If any man who's got tiniest bit of confidence, or who might act like a man, because men behave differently from women for the most part, and women behave differently from men to a certain extent. We have a lot that unites us, but then there are a lot that divides us. And that's the beauty of men and women. We were made to complement one another. I never felt comfortable with that term. There were two terms I never really felt comfortable. One was defund the police. I never liked that. And now we're seeing what's happening in California, especially San Francisco. There's a serious shortage of police. Some of the people who have been calling, some of the politicians that has been calling to defund the police are actually now crying, saying, people are dying in our district. They're being murdered. They're being robbed. There's just no safety because so many police officers left their jobs, quit. Because a lot of the police officers make money from overtime because they don't make enough money. It's a very dangerous job. And if you're not getting the overtime with all these cuts that were demanded by folks, then what would be the point for them staying in that hostile situation and a very dangerous job? Of course they would leave. Same thing is happening in Minnesota. Crime is out of control in Minneapolis. So I never felt comfortable with that term, defund the police. And I never felt comfortable with this term, toxic masculinity. And this is the next natural thing where men will put on dresses. Yeah, they should have the right to put on dresses if they want and live their lives. And they should be left alone. But that doesn't mean you have to take somebody else's spot, somebody else's space. Take over women's sports. Now you have all these companies giving men sponsorships to tell us what women look like, what woman is supposed to wear, what woman, how a woman is supposed to behave. Hello, we're here. We hold half the sky. Can you believe this politician? And many politicians, like the entire Democratic Party, none of them, the vast majority of them, cannot define what woman is. And they know exactly what woman is. Of course they know, unless we all lost our minds, I don't know, within the past couple of years. In that case, then they shouldn't be leading anyone. They shouldn't be holding these positions if they can no longer remember anything. How could anybody trust this prime minister? Oh, that came from the left field. What are you talking about? You know exactly what woman is. That's where you come from. The two legs you passed through when you enter this lifetime. Did you forget the vagina that you passed through? Or even if you were a cesarean baby, the womb that hosts you, did you forget? How dare you? How dare you? What is with these Western nations where there's always a new group that every couple of years, there's a new group that has to be sheltered and cuddled and favored. But no group has ever been sheltered and catered to as this group. We are living in a world where this big, huge man will just put on a dress, or maybe just not even put on a dress, but just say, I am a woman, and he just, all of a sudden, he needs to be sheltered, he needs to be catered to, he needs to be cuddled, he needs to just be able to get away with anything he wants. These people are even beating, not all transgenders, obviously, but some of the wild activists. They're beating up people, and the police are not arresting them. In some cases, you see the police walking away, where women are in danger, being yelled at, being surrounded, and the police, you see them walking away in like New Zealand and a couple of other places. I think it was London. Yeah. The Speaker's Corner. Australia is even far worse. And then you have other parts of the world where women are still not getting their God-given rights. God has given all of human beings rights. But it was always men that was in the middle between God and women, refusing to give women their rights. So you have parts of the world where women are still struggling in just getting the very basic rights given to them by their creator. And then you have the Western nations where women were at least able to, achieve and have rights and have voices. And they were able to at least speak for other women around the world, women that are being marginalized. And now it seems they're actually more in danger. The Western women are far more in danger than the ones in other parts of the world. So it's at least in other parts of the world, you're like, oh, okay, at least, I mean, I'm not losing anything that I haven't even had. I've never really had my own space to a certain extent, my own, everything had to pass through men. It's men that hold all the cards, because this is still men's world. But in such a short time, all the gains made by women in the Western nations have been taken away. Today I even read an article that I think was in Australia. I think it's in Australia. Women's golf tournament was won by a guy. I just wonder how, where are we heading? This is really, really scary. This politician, the audacity of this New Zealand Prime Minister. There's nothing more unattractive than a politician who is just so cowardly and so dishonorable and disrespectful, just treating everyone as people are just dumb, thinking that no one is going to hold them accountable, hoping that people will just forget. I don't think people are going to forget this. This is disgusting. Just disgusting. God help us. God help us. Women are in trouble everywhere in the world. Yeah, it's a man's world. And men will just always stand up for their own brethren, you know? But hopefully there will be enough men in the world who will speak and stand for women. I know it's happening in this country. But there are plenty of men who hate women, especially any woman who asks for any of her rights, immediately labeling women feminists. And because they hate feminism and feminists so much, they rather support the men that are coming to crush women. Very sad. Thank you so much for watching.